Since Spacies.
G'day invaders and welcome to Since Spacies, and this is episode number 20 of the Since Spacies show, and I've got some... Oh, one just dropped out. We lost one. Anyway, I'm joined by some pretty special guests. I'm sure we'll get him back in on the chat soon. I hope I'm coming out loud and clear. And I just got to sort out some audio. Oh, wow. We're just trying to work this out all on the fly. This is really, slick and smooth and stuff. We have got some ex-Sega staff members, including myself. So back in the early 90s, if you got stuck in a video game, you didn't go looking up YouTube. There was no tube of you. There was no online. There was no internet. You had to get on the phone and give us a call, and we would try to talk you through, like we're trying to talk one of our guys on in the chat at the moment to get him in on this Discord. We're not doing a good job, I might add. Anyway, I am joined by Sega Master Tim and Sega Master Tim and Sega Master Nick. Sorry, Tim's gone. The other Tim. Yeah, it's real smooth. Anyway, and I'm going to bring in off. Oh, I got the wrong screen up. Good one. Here we go. We have got our slideshow here ready to go. We are also trying to keep an eye on where our other buddy has gone. So I'll have to keep checking in on that from time to time. So excuse the screen flickering and whatnot that is going to go on. So where do we want to start? We'll just start with the slideshow, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well start with that, mate.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, yep, that is us. And I do. I mean, if I could rock that hairdo now, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Look at Tim and his suave jacket. It's an 100% Mambo jacket too.
Mambo, yes, Mambo.
It would be pretty rare these days, I'd say.
And what you guys don't realize is that those two dudes there with their phones in their hand, they're not actually taking calls. None of them were taking calls in that phone.
It's for the camera.
It was for the camera. I'm just checking in every now and again to see if he's joining in. Just a bit of on-the-fly stuff here. Nick, if you could send a message for him to just go back into that waiting room, and I'll try and drag him into the Discord. All right, so we're having issues with COVID. People's connections are a little flaky, and so, we just got to do what we can to keep this moving. So, how did we get our start in video gaming? Well, we didn't get it by getting replica machines. That Space Invaders, that's a 40 anniversary machine. And they're all fake machines. They're not. Who did this clip art? I
think these are like.
These are the.
I think these are Christmas ornaments.
Oh, really? The 40th anniversary one is legit, but the ones on the left, on the right, I don't know my left and right, they look like ones that you can just buy now as little ornaments and stuff. My first video game since Space Invaders, hence the name. We might just move on. Did you guys get started with consoles or with arcade, or was it handheld? How did you get your start?
Well, I mean, video games were everything in my life, and it's much like kids would be these days. Like, if you want to play games, and it's a lot easier these days. There's so much at your fingertips at any time. But back in the day, it was all about going to my cousin's place. He had an Atari 2600, and we didn't have any gaming systems, but we knew whenever we were going to his place, it was going to be Atari time. So for the first, we'd rock up and we'd be like, hello, everyone. And it's like, where's the Atari? So that was our kind of introduction to console gaming at that point. And it was the glory days, that's for sure.
By the way, we are joined by Tim now. He has finally made it. Can we... No audio.
Can't hear him yet, though.
No audio. He's going to have to keep working on that. And this could be like the ongoing gag throughout the show. We'll see how he goes. So, what was your first console? Atari?
Oh, no, it was my cousin's Atari.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't get one until quite a few years later. And we did start with an Atari 2600. And from there, it was a Commodore 64. And, that was pretty epic at the time. I mean, games weren't amazing, but there was a lot of innovation and games. You could even just go to like the Grace Brothers or your local store, and you'd end up just buying like a cassette, and the game wouldn't be so great, but the art on the front would be amazing, and you'd just be sort of drawn into it. And that's what they sold a lot of these games on.
How awesome was Atari art? Like the box art on that, they really wanted to get that damn thing sold, didn't they?
Oh, that's right.
It was a blatant lie, but it worked. So.
Yeah, true.
Well, you just did the old blow on the cartridge.
Sorry, what was that?
You just do the old blow on the cartridge if it didn't work, and it would work.
Yeah,
yes,
obviously.
Yeah.
Actually, they did
wiggle it around a bit.
They did a Lego NES just recently. You guys probably already seen that. I've still got mine. Still haven't built it. But on the promo ad, they showed a guy blowing the fake cartridge. Like, it's like, oh, you're just showing off. Tim, your first console wasn't a console, was it?
I started with an arcade. The first video game I saw was Space Invaders.
Oh, okay.
Which was at it was, and that was at a local squash court or a gym, to make the international audience understand. So when I saw that, I like, oh geez, I'm hooked onto this sort of stuff. So the first console I ever owned was a generic Pong set, where you had the interchangeable cartridges. So we're talking really basic graphics there.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, the Atari was out at the time, but just didn't have enough money to buy an Atari at the time. And I know that sounds ludicrous in this day and age, but that's what it was like. I mean, what was the equivalent of buying an Atari back then?
It was about 400. The price tag was about 400, because a mate of mine from indoor cricket, he had his original box for his Atari 2600, and it had the Grace Brothers price tag on it, $3.99. And I looked at that, and even today, if you told me a console cost $3.99, I'm still gonna be thinking, oh, I need to get some money together for that. But back then, $3.99, you're doubling it easily. Yeah.
And when you think of inflation today, that's about, what's that, 800 almost? So, couldn't afford that. But then I went from the generic Pong to the Atari, and obviously the games were a lot better on that. But I had mates that loved playing C64 and that, and they sort of looked down on consoles. Because they were very basic in that. But I didn't want to stuff around with waiting for things to load up. I just wanted to get on with playing the bloody game. And, so that's where my gaming started off with. And I wasn't lucky like you folks, because you all grew up in the cities and that. I grew up in the country, so getting access to good games and current arcade machines was really hard for me, because I had to travel over 40 kilometres once a week to Albury. So Albury is like the border between New South Wales and Victoria. And we would go over there once a week to do the shopping and that, late night shopping. And so I had asked Mum if I could borrow $2 to play the pennies.
and convincing your oldies to give you money to do that was just...
it's like trying to get blood from a stone, to be quite frank.
So damn hard. We just did what we could.
I mean, for Tim and I, we loved arcade games. When we discovered those, it was just an insane attraction to them. There was one at like a local Safeway, which is like a supermarket. I don't know if they exist anymore. And there was one game there, and we used to be sent down the road to go to piano lessons. And one day we just went, oh, look, we've got this piano lesson money. We're just going to go and play this arcade game at the shops. And we must have been there for like half an hour or so. I think it was like a tap on the shoulder, and it was the piano teacher.
They caught up with you. That's awesome.
Oh, we got in trouble for that one. It was funny.
For me, yeah.
Your mum was.
No, so go on.
Your
mum
mum was probably wondering why you hadn't progressed from chopsticks.
That's right, exactly.
That was in
So
the
we
piano
got pretty-
teacher's interest to get that money out of you. So yeah.
But yeah, the arcades, they were the place. Like, that when you wanted it was before, of course, home consoles and home gaming overtook the arcades. But back in the day, there was just the arcade machines were fantastic.
Tim, have we got your audio sorted yet? Or oh man, no, it's just an issue. We'll leave you to pitfall your way through that. I'm just gonna get into my little story about how I got into video games, and yes, it was Space Invaders at the Milk Bar. And I didn't get a console until I was 12 years old. So I had to wait a long time compared to what kids, have to wait now. Most kids have a console in their hand, which is their mobile phone or tablet, and they have that ready to go when they're 3-4 years old now. So, yeah, completely different world we grew up in compared to now. But my first console was a Sega SC3000. Today I saw a commercial for the first time. I never saw this commercial back in the day. From 1983, Lisa Curry Kenny, well, she was Lisa Curry back then, advertising the Uncle Toby's, and the prize for the competition was a Sega SC3000. And the kids are like, wow, that's a neat looking computer, Lisa. And the stuff that they were showing off as the prize, I had most of that stuff. And I'm just glad I still got that computer to this day. And not many people know about it. Americans and Brits, they don't know anything about this system. It's just fallen off the radar over time. But it is a big part of Sega's history. And, Sega's a big part of our history too. We got to talk about how we got into the company itself. Oh well, there's the Atari 2600, a system that meant a lot to a lot of us here. No one, hang on. Nick and Tim had one.
Yep.
But Tim, you didn't have. Gads, you didn't have one yourself.
No, I did.
You did?
No,
okay.
because I had the Pong, and then I upgraded.
Okay.
to a 2600, and I didn't have the 6 switcher. I had the DAF.
So you didn't
model.
didn't have the Woody?
Didn't have the
I
Woody.
didn't have a Woody. Nah, I'd love to have a Woody.
Any opportunity
No
to say
pun
that, yeah. So that was the model that I got to play on a friend's system, and it was this one here, and I got to borrow it a lot. And then another friend bought an Atari 2600 Junior, so that's when I started to learn about same system, just different looks. And that's something that's still progressed to this day, where consoles would come out and just revamp the way they look. Oh, well, there we go. We've got the Commodore 64. We've got that dreaded Radio Shack.
The TRS-80. That's what I had. Piece of crap.
That's it, yeah.
Piece of crap.
And there's my
I mean, really, come on. We try to convince our parents. Oh no, it's a computer. I can learn how to write things.
Yes.
Computer language and do my homework on it and all that. Like, come on, come on, play a game.
Yeah, we're just here.
Want to play a game.
We're just here for asteroids and.
We were desperate for games back in the day, and so you'd buy your local video game magazine, and if you wanted to play like a new one for the Commodore 64, you'd have to type it out.
And if you got one line wrong, one little bit of text wrong, it would just throw the whole thing off. Yeah,
that was
these were hundreds of lines.
Yeah. And then you go, all right, this is wrong. I haven't put in the bracket right.
Some genius.
And sometimes.
I was just going to say some. Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, sometimes you would type out these things and they would take hours and hours, and you'd check it over and it'd still have errors. And then a couple of months later in a magazine, it'd be like, oh, sorry about the error for that program. Here's the update so you can get it working.
Wow. So for one whole month, I was going nuts. Yeah. I was going to say some genius in the UK released a single, and then on the flip side, there was data that you could, if you plugged it to your computer and played that record, the record would load up your, I think it was a Speccy with a program of a vinyl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Of a vinyl.
Yeah,
That's
that-
just. But apparently
Vinyl.
it was so easy for it to get distorted or go wrong because of the needle not being right or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, interesting, novel, not very effective. Yeah, and then we all, I don't know, who he had a Master System. I mean, that was the system that I wanted.
Yeah, I've still got my original one that I got all
Fantastic.
those years ago. Yeah, and it looks like the original.
Did you
Master
get the
System.
little controller joystick, screen?
Yeah. So when you bought the first generation, it had that removable plug to screw the joystick in, and God, it was like hell on your fingers.
Oh, okay.
Even as a young, it's really, and you just said, "Oh, stuff it." No, I'm gonna just use me thumb and go with that. Yeah, but it just keeps on going on and on and on. I don't know, probably survive a nuclear winter given half a chance.
So
Do you have any of the card games?
I had. Well, originally I had about 5 of them. I had Teddy Boy, F-16, Ghost House. Trying to remember what the other 2 were, but anyway, and over time I've lost them. I don't know where they are, so I'm stuck with Teddy Boy and F-16. Yeah, so
interesting choices.
Well, the thing was, once again, living in the country, you were limited with choices as to what they had, what they brought up to the country compared to the city. So, but because I was such a big Sega fan, I'd be happy to take anything. Yeah.
And I'm going to try and see if we can this time touch on why we pronounce Sega rather than Sega. I do have a theory, and I wanted to do a video on this one day, but we'll get on that later. I just found it interesting up until this point, where 15 minutes in, the word Nintendo pretty much hasn't come into this whole conversation at this point.
Well, you ruined it, Brian.
No, because I was going to say that I was just going to illustrate the point that here in Australia, well, at least for me, Nintendo wasn't really on the radar. We didn't get a big influence or influx of Nintendo titles. This was the machine, the Master System, that I was really eyeing off and wanted to get. I couldn't afford it, so I ended up having to get an SC3000 because they were on clearance.
Nice.
They were making way for this thing, the Master System.
Yeah.
Tim, have we got you finally? Audio?
Is
Marcel?
two square blocks.
No, sorry.
2 square blocks. That's all we've got.
I'm trying to actually load up as we speak my website so I can check out the chat, because my screens are both taken up with this and I can't see chat. So if someone else can look at the chat, that would be awesome. But anyway, but yeah. And now this is dying on me in the background. It's all coming undone. But yeah, Master System was the big one. Commodore 64 was huge. Atari before all that was dominant, like ridiculously big. And it wasn't until...
Don't forget the Dick Smith Wizard.
No, I did forget. It was forgettable. I do remember seeing ads for that thing, just wondering, what is this thing all about? Yeah, never got one. Here we go. We got the chat going. I'm just trying to get this chat back up on my little tab here, trying to make take advantage of all the real estate I can. There we go. So unable to contact YouTube. That's a bit of an issue. All right, that's not going to stay there for long. So joining the Sega hotline. Yeah, no, it's just falling apart. Joining the Sega hotline. Well, I'll go with my story. That is my setup back in 1991. Well, you guys can't see it. Hang on. There we go. That is my setup in 1991, and I'm I'm actually jelly of that setup now. There's 2 machines there that I threw out, unfortunately, and if I had have kept on to them with the boxes, they're worth $7,000. And that is the Sega SC3000 hard case keyboard system, along with its hard drive. They're rare as heck now. But anyway, so I wrote my own magazine, the Sega Times, and I was sending copies of this into Sega, desperately trying to get a job with them while in high school. My high school wasn't on my radar. It was just Sega, writing for video games. That was all I was interested in, or getting a job in a video game company at that time. And I just kept bugging them. And eventually I was starting to give up, but I left high school, and my old man came in and gave me that talk, you're gonna have to start looking around for a job. All right, no worries, I'll get onto that next week. And then I got a phone call that very day from Sega asking me to come in and basically offering me a job. It was just like the best timing. But mind you, it didn't just happen right there and then. That was through months and months and months of harassing them. So eventually that all sort of came into play for me. Now these letters, this is where Tim's story comes into it. You're going to have to do some little bit of explaining here.
Yeah. So when I came across the Master System, I became a really big fan. And when I was a kid, I wasn't really in school a lot because I had a lot of problems with the health and that. So anyway, when I fell in love with Sega and all that, and I wanted to know more about Sega, so I did a crazy thing and sent a letter to Sega of America. And I just told them that I was a big fan and that. And I wasn't really expecting anything. And then somebody wrote back, and her name was Judy Jetay. And I was corrected about a year ago.
And that's the first time I've heard you pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. So these are the letters that I got from Judy. And you can see the dates there. I think you got there
88.
1989, 88.
87. Wow.
87, yeah. So I've been...
Did you have a mullet?
Nah.
No, just checking.
There was a time I did try wearing a mullet. I was about 18, and it looked so bad. It looked like somebody stuck a powder puff on the back of me freaking head.
Yeah,
so,
I did it once, and I got rid of it straight away. Yeah.
I tell you what, it's starting to look like that now.
COVID.
Yeah. So and you can see the headings there. It's all Sega branded and that, and Forbes Boulevard. You can still look up that address on Google Maps if you wanted to see where the headquarters of Sega of America was at the time. So anyway, we were sending each other mail, talking about what was going on, and she'd send out some stuff. She sent through to me one of the rarest games in the Master System collection, and that was Power Strike with the grey label. That was only a mail order release. I'd love to know where the hell it is now, because that thing's worth I think it's about $800 bloody or something like that. Yeah. So you've got 2 versions. You've got the Power Strike that you can commonly get, which is about 200 or whatever, or 150. But then there's that limited release one, and I'd love to know where the hell it is.
Is it somewhere, Timmy, or what?
I don't know. Every time I've gone back home up to Beechworth, I can't find the bloody thing. I have no idea where it is. Yeah,
hopefully it's waiting for you one day.
Yeah. So anyway, we were sending letters to each other, and then I got this box through the mail. Oh yeah, there was one time I actually called up Judy, and amazingly, it was only up until last year a follower pointed this out to me and asked, "Is this you, Tim?" and if you can see carefully there, that
She has a pen pal from Australia, and they met when they called the Sega hotline one night. I was working late, and the phone just wouldn't stop ringing. She said it was Tim calling from Australia. He was
Australia.
Yeah, he's 15 years old, and I love corresponding with him. He even sent me a Space Harrier poster from Australia. Wow, that's pretty cool.
I think I drew that.
A poster.
I think I drew
Oh,
it
so
myself.
okay.
Yeah, I think I drew it. Yeah. So I sent her stuff. She sent me stuff. But one time she sent me this package, this box, and it was full of cheats for cheats and walkthroughs for games that had been released, games that hadn't been released, and games that had not even been announced here in Australia. So I had like the mother load of information, and I didn't know what to do with that information until I discovered the hotline. And like Brian, I started ringing them up and harassing them.
Oh, yeah.
How the hell do I get a job? And sure enough, they caved in.
In all fairness, I wasn't personally asking that often. It would be every now and again I might drop that into the conversation, and I would get no, seriously, and then I would get the usual well, we're still not looking at the moment, but we'll let you know when that comes up. And then I would just change the conversation back to, okay, so what games are coming out, and fishing for information from a magazine. Now we're going to move on to Sega Master Nick.
My story.
Yeah, how did you get into the hotline? What was your clever plan?
Well, that's an interesting story. I mean, my if you can have a look at the top of the top photo, there's one of our other Sega colleagues, Brett.
Yeah.
Above him was like a Simpsons. And to the right is like a Mickey and all these little foam cutouts that were used in the shops of displays. And they were created by my older brother, and he worked at Sega at the time and in the art department. And I mean, I was 17 and just finished school, and I had no idea what I was going to do. But my older brother had said to my twin brother, who's in the other photo there, why don't you have a chat about the Sega hotline? And so Tim had actually gone in and had a job a few months before I thought, well, look, you know, I love games. I think I'd be great at this. And yes, I went in and had a chat with the manager, Karen, at the time. And sure enough, that's how I got my start at Sega. It was pretty cool. And one of those sort of moments where you're like, oh, okay, I was kind of like, I'd finished school, didn't really know what I was doing, and now all of a sudden I was getting paid to help people on the Sega hotline. It was a bit of a dream, really. I couldn't believe it.
I just didn't realize that until now. That to the right of Bart Simpson there was an LED display telling us there was five calls in the queue or 10 calls in the queue.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yes.
so that's something I just picked up on them for the first time.
I don't think we were so diligent about it, were we?
No, I never stressed. I never stressed.
Brian, was this the new place?
No, this is the old joint. This is the
old
original.
Joint.
When we first first started working there, they were mostly a PC Commodore 64 distributor company that we're working for.
Sega Aussie
with some yogurt distribution thing. You can see Yogi actually there in the soft serve Yogi.
That's right.
But eventually Sega obviously was starting to really show that it was making serious coin to the point where Sega of Japan themselves came in and bought a controlling share in our company. So we technically then could say we were not working for Aussiesoft, we were working for Sega Aussiesoft.
Sega.
And Sega was our boss eventually, the company itself, not just a distribution company. So that was cool. The first time I got a letterhead and it had the Sega logo on it. That was a pretty cool moment. So moving right along, yes, serious fun. That was our slogan. Working on the hotline, and I couldn't find anywhere on the internet that slogan. I had to make this myself, but that's what it looked like.
Really?
You type in
Okay.
Sega Serious Fun in image search, nothing. You can't find it. Not a clean
That's really
logo.
interesting.
So that's something we need to work on. I tried getting the current Sega people who distribute Sega into this country to bring it back, but they were just not interested, which is a bit of a shame. I want serious fun. So,
When
should,
did the
sorry.
Serious Fun logo start? Was it
Um,
before they released the Serious Fun stores, or?
oh, it was way before that. It was just Serious Fun was the slogan,
Okay.
and then the Serious.
I'm just trying to remember myself.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not sure, but it would have been before the stores for sure.
so
Yeah. Okay.
before that, I can't even remember what the slogan or the catchphrase was, but I remember the company that had it before us, Kids Bids. They
Oh, yeah.
they just had not Serious Fun, the Challenge Awaits or some damn thing. I can't remember, but they used to push the arcade side of things more than what Aussiesoft were doing. Should we watch some of this video from the Sega
Yes.
Hotline?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's look as
Let it
to
roll.
see how thin we were.
All right. Let's bring this onto the main screen. Bit of high-tech gadgetry going on here. Here we go.
Down here we have a bunch of people.
Nick,
Wait.
don't cry.
Probably not.
Gonna have to let go of that hair.
When people
I
ring.
know. Oh, that was Tim.
And excuse the wobbly camera work. There was no auto stabilization back then.
Smile. Oh, very good.
We were all drunk at work.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is actual footage from the Hotline back in 1992. The bosses and the managers were all on holidays at this time. This is
See what I mean?
Christmas
It's just
'92.
incredible. And here is the cupboard of joys.
Jeez.
In
Oh,
here,
George.
Yeah. There's
cabinet.
the
Okay.
cabinet.
Okay, we're gonna just freeze it there. That was
Oh, not with the hand in front of it.
yeah. There's a lot of EA games
you
actually.
go.
There's a lot of EA games there. I'm noticing. But that was where all of
I
our
remember that.
games were. Those boxes that you see there, they're ROM boards. Well, ROM chips, I should say.
Chips, yeah.
They were stashed into. Oh, hang on. You guys can't see it because I'm not showing you. There we go. That's the cupboard of joy.
Do you want to try and pull Tim into the chat?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. God, it's all happening on the fly. I've got my YouTube dying. I've got my guest just trying his heart out to get back into this channel. I think we got. Hey, there he is!
Oh, we can hear him.
Yeah.
Where's the video?
Don't change anything.
Don't leave the video. We don't want to see you anyway. Just don't touch a thing. We want to hear you. and I've got my display here, which yeah, it's all falling apart.
This looks like me.
Is it happening?
Hey, it's working. All right, don't touch a thing.
Don't touch a thing.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you, wife.
How long is that? How long has that been now? Half an hour. Half a freaking hour.
Half an hour.
All right, so
Sorry, I'm watching.
Where were
this.
we?
all right, I'm gonna first before we continue on, I'm going to apologize to the chat. I can't see chat except on my channel. I can't see the generosity chat. If you guys can have a look at the chat maybe and see if anyone's asking questions, that'll be awesome. Make sure you mute the audio though. But we'll move on.
I'm
So
not touching anything.
yeah, and you're not touching anything. Tim, I got Emerald Rangers there though, in my chat saying Tim speaks.
But it's still 2 squares, but anyway.
He's real. Legend is true.
So anyway, we'll move right along. So we got the Sega Hotline cupboard of joy, and I was just explaining that those white boxes that you see there, they're the ROM chips that used to be sent in long clear plastic tubes, and when we get them in from Japan, that was Christmas. Like we would just be all over that in a heartbeat. Quick, get those chips in. We want to see what they've sent us. Probably the most exciting one that we ever did get, and I think Tim knows which direction I'm going with this. It also came with hardware as well, so it wasn't just the game itself, but a new piece of Mega Drive hardware that we had never seen before, and it was not announced. It's not like now where you get the announcements on the fly and you see it months before it's even released. we got our first look at the 6-button Mega Drive controller. Before that, we were thinking, how are they going to do it with 3 buttons? This is crap. It's not going to work. And next thing you know, this new controller comes out. And to this day, that Mega Drive controller still ranks as one of my favorite controllers of all time. I still love that 6-button controller.
So good.
It just
So
felt
good.
so good in the hands. And with the Mega Drive Mini, the Japanese version comes with a slightly smaller version, and I didn't realize that they had the same thing but slightly smaller officially. Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
their official controller
Yeah.
is the same, but just ever so, like, we're talking 10-15% smaller. So weird. But it still feels good. I got the replica from, I think it's 8-Bit though. I think they're the ones that did it, or Retro Bit, one or the other. And it's an awesome controller to this day. Let's play on, yeah? So
Just for the record, that's just one cupboard. The other cupboard had all the Master System
Yeah.
and Game Gear games.
That's right.
Yeah, that'll be.
Talk about the blonde tips.
yes,
I've always wanted to do
what
that.
happened to them? That cost me a lot of money. That was like a half a week's pay, I think, just to get that damn the streaks.
Half a week's pay.
Something like that.
We didn't get paid a lot.
What were we earning at Sega Masters? I don't even remember. I wish I had a pay slip.
I didn't care about pay. I just wanted money. Hang on.
It probably wasn't much. Oh, good.
Listen,
I would-
listen to the call.
Mega Drive. Right. Well, first of all, have you got a Sega Club membership number?
I was ruthless.
No, you haven't.
Oh,
right. Well,
great.
would you like me to send you an application?
So much power, Brian. It
I
went to your
know,
head.
right? I know.
Oh, right. Okay.
Welcome to Australia.
Yeah. What a charmer.
He is. Okay. What's his membership number?
Oh, that top. How's that?
I missed that. I love that jacket.
What zebra had to die for that?
What's his surname?
Paid down by all those badges.
I lost it. My ex-girlfriend threw them all out.
Okay. What's his?
Oh.
And that's why she's your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, I'm
Psycho.
sorry, he's not a member. Okay,
My
so
Garfield
what do
Brian
is become a
mug.
member.
Oh my
Can you
God.
call back? Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Does that still exist?
Oh no, that went long ago.
This is where
Oh, outside.
So the barbecue,
Did
which
you
never
not
got
have-
used.
Oh, there was
No,
one
it didn't.
time. No, when the Sydney Kings came over.
Ah, okay.
That was one time it was used. Oh.
Can you believe it? More like kindergarten.
There we go. So
Silly
that's
Look at
Megazone.
that. My God, look at
That was
that.
the
His own
marketing.
girl. Yeah.
She's a violet.
Yeah, marketing
those
worked
big
real
ones
hard.
like
You can see that they were really hard at work.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is the chunk of the video now.
And this is the Sega Hotline where they do absolutely nothing. Who's that?
There I am.
Hey.
I still have that T-shirt. I still have that T-shirt.
No.
You haven't aged, man. It's disgusting.
Nah. Nah.
Badge collection.
Hey, the badges.
There's some decent badges there would be worth a lot now.
That's Nick. Here's his other hat.
Hey, there I am.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's me.
See? That's George. And he's a dentist.
And George.
He wanted to become a dentist. didn't
He well,
I think he was a dentist.
no, he did
Oh,
become a
he's trained.
dentist. He did.
he?
A very successful one too, I might add.
It's all thanks to the hotline. Once again,
Yep.
Sega.
Taught him all
helps
that
out
customer
where it's
service. Look at
needed.
us. We're diligently hard at work. Notice that the only person that's actually taking calls is
TV.
me and George. George was taking calls as well.
I think I was
I'm
on a
trying to
break.
think. This would have been a weekend. This is not.
This is
during the
this
week.
is seriously not how the hotline worked on a regular basis.
Yeah.
This is such a
Yeah.
rare look at what we were doing when the managers were not around and we were just goofing off.
It's
And yet-
not as structured as the Nintendo guys.
Oh, hardly.
High score video.
let alone anywhere in the world.
We did look after people. We did. We really
Yeah.
Quality of the game. I mean, with the receipt, sorry.
Oh, this was the
We watched it on the
redemption.
whole time.
This was the redemption thing. Yeah, bullshit.
Bullshit.
Listen to the noise that's going on while I'm trying to take the call. Yeah, good one, Tim.
Yeah, if you got enough points for a game, then you fill it
You've
out.
got to give you a bit of shtick, mate. That's all good.
Okay.
And when is this like?
Customer service skills haven't changed. Look at this, so pretending. And another false fraud.
What? I was working hard there. Oh, look, is that the lemon lime?
He's
sauce?
hey, he's got a Sonic watch too.
George, there's a call for you?
Yes.
I've still got mine.
Nah.
Okay.
I think I just hung up on him.
Is there someone there for you?
It's so bad.
And
This footage is amazing, Brian. You have to. Yeah, it's just to have this is like so cool.
Oh, you got no idea how. Okay, so there's that. You got no idea how hard I fought to get that footage off the dude that recorded it. So he was from marketing. I can't remember. You guys remember who it was that recorded that?
No.
Nah,
No
gone
idea.
blank. So I
Gone.
chased it down because up until that point, the reason why I was so adamant about getting that footage was I had no footage of myself. It's not like now everyone's got a mobile phone in their pocket and they can just take video. I had no video footage of what I looked like and what I walked like or any of that. So that was the first time I got to see myself on camera. So I managed to grab it. I borrowed the tape off him. I recorded it and I gave him the video back. So somewhere else out there, maybe another copy of that video somewhere. So that's what do you guys, I want to hear your thoughts on that video. What do you guys think, Tim? Latecomer
Which
Tim.
one?
Pitfall Tim. What do you think when you see that footage?
I love it because it is just, even though probably it's just a few minutes, it's a snapshot of where we were at that time. I think you're absolutely right, Brian, that there just wasn't, like today, you can just film everything all the time, everywhere. But without that footage, it does prompt so many memories of what it was like back then. And yeah, we certainly weren't probably as corporate as what Sega or Nintendo were, like Sega US or Nintendo, but we had a lot of fun. We did serve everyone pretty well as far as, we got through our calls. We had a good time. We're all very knowledgeable. We got along well, and it was extremely popular.
I never felt in any way in the time that I was there like it was a job. I just turned up and wanted to help and be a part of what I thought at the time was going to be something that lasted much longer than it did. And I was just so damn happy at that time to be working for the company that I obviously idolized up until that point. And I'm pretty sure you guys would have been, thinking the same as well. I'm just going to address something. We've got Emerald Rangers in the comments there saying that we're not on the PAX stream. No, we're not, unfortunately, due to technical issues. We won't go into that at the moment, but we're streaming on Generosity, and we're also streaming on Spacies.com. And Generosity actually trying to get money gathered up for a fundraiser for cancer. You'll see if you go to Generos, that's with a Z, generosity.com.au, you'll see links there on how you can go about donating to that awesome cause. I think it says they're trying to reach $15,000. They're up to $13,535. So if you want to donate to an awesome cause, get on over to generosity.com.au and throw some coin in their way to get their target reached of $15,000. So we are here for a reason, not just to reminisce about the good old times. It's also to put out the word about, I won't repeat the slogan. You guys have seen the slogan that they're using? Screw cancer, but something a little bit more with a bit more oomph
yes.
than that. Okay.
F-bomb cancer.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, F-bomb cancer. Yeah.
So, I've got to try and quickly move along. Oh my God, these were the commercials that we got to see whenever you bought a Mega Drive or Master System game. This phone number was basically peppered everywhere. That number though, that 3170077 number, that's not familiar to me. So that must have been what they changed to. Strictly members only. So this is when they begin to change. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and the hours were changing too.
Club.
Yeah, so it all started to change. I left, 94, I think it was. So I was there from 91 to 94, and 94 onwards was when it started to really mix up with the phone numbers, and they were trying to make money out of it rather than it being a service.
Yeah.
That's right. Originally, it was just a local call or just a nationwide call to a Sydney number.
Yeah.
And we would just take the calls and as they would come in, and it was true. Yeah. Eventually, it became members only, and there was a time where we would have to ask, "What's your Sega Club member number?"
We can actually see I was doing that in that video. Yeah, I was policing it. I was the only one policing it. You guys were like, "Yeah, cool. You can have the cheat. I don't care."
Oh, look, people would be really desperate and would be like, "Oh, you have to be a member. You can join up now." We used to get people to cough up at that time, like on the call,
wow.
or we just get them to send in their money, and
Credit card payment.
Actually send in money.
Yeah, I was going to say credit card payments over the phone wasn't really a big thing back then, but I guess some people were doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't remember, but people would say, "Oh, look, we'll join, but we just need help right now." And we'd be like, "Okay,
I just need to beat this freaking game." Some more photos. I would kill to get those boxes that are hanging on that wall. Also, I just noticed one of my artwork is my bit of artwork is up on the wall there. I've not noticed that until just now. I drew that. That's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just getting really excited. Yeah, I know, right? I also love. Oh, we haven't got it. The Mortal Kombat Sonic ripping Mario's head off that was sent in. I would love to get that artwork that was sent in. Or did we print that? I can't remember.
I
think we framed it.
We might have.
I think we framed it. We framed that damn thing.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't
because
you?
we were just impressed by the gore.
Sega versus Nintendo was real. It was serious.
What you'll also notice is up on the top there, you'll see a ring of stickers. Those stickers are Hotline stickers. The Hotline stickers have been looped and stuck together to form rings. Because we were so bored, we'd be just sitting there during the quiet hours. We had really little to do, and so we'd be just doing whatever we could to try and fill the time. Sometimes,
you couldn't surf the net. It wasn't possible.
No,
it was just.
We used
you
to
couldn't watch TV, could you?
We found a way of chatting to each other though via the computer system. And when I first saw that, I thought my brain just went, what? There was a dude that used to work there. He would make up stories. He would write a story, and then I would have to add one line to that story, and we'd be just bouncing that back and forth during the shift, making this stupid role play story.
Was there a game within the system, like the actual system that we had the hints and tips on?
No, it was just.
I think there was.
I can't recall seeing a game.
It wasn't like graphics or anything like that, but there was a built-in game. Yeah, there was something you had to do to action it. But anyway, that's gone.
So, interestingly enough, out of all those boxes there, the only ones that I am missing is the Master System Plus, Master System 2, and a Mega Drive controller. I've got all the other ones. Yeah.
So you got the glasses as well.
I have got the 3D glasses, the phaser
Wow.
guns back there, and the phaser gun is still sealed in its box. So that was
Nice.
a big find.
Beautiful.
Never seen the Master System Plus box on eBay or anything over the years. It just must be so rare. So
I
rare.
did see it going off last week, and it sold for about $450,
Whoa.
Wow.
and it was nowhere near as
Okay.
good condition as that. So yeah, sorry, we've got to catch up. So more photos from the zany antics.
There's the T-shirt. There's the T-shirt.
The serious fun.
Still got
yes.
one of those T-shirts. Yeah,
Wow.
the serious fun.
Got to move this along because we have got questions we've got to get answered from people who have sent them in via video. I don't know what the story behind the guitar is. I think that was Brett's. Yeah, and you can see one of the monitors there in the background showing, showing the green screen, which made you see red after a while. I'm dying to get that Sonic poster that's up on the wall. I don't have one of them. Sega Masters.
Hey, there we are.
Sega Masters at
Yes.
work on the hotline. Sure.
There's Andrew Iredale. I wonder what he's up to these days. He was went on to write for, was it Nintendo Magazine or PlayStation Magazine?
Traitor.
PlayStation, I
He's
think it
dead
was,
to
yeah.
me. He's dead to me.
Love it.
He's an insider. That's why he's smiling away. It's like, haha.
And where did we get our hints? So it was from
There we go.
folders like that. Look familiar, Tim?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've
Yes,
actually got one.
exactly right.
I've got some of these. Not. I got to get them properly looked after, but I've got the Fantasy Star guides. I kept that because I was just so amazed with how well it helped out. By today's standards, it wasn't all that great, but back then we didn't really get much in the way of help when it came with games. So you had to call hotlines. And yeah, I don't know why there's a random picture of Electronic Gaming Monthly. I think that's where I got most of my inspiration from to become a game reviewer. Okay, quick story, and then we'll move on to the videos. This is a guide that was sent into the hotline many years later. Actually 2 years ago, I tried to get in contact with the dude that sent this in, and I found him on Facebook. Stalker much. And I asked him, do you remember sending in a guide to the Sega hotline way back in the day? Oh, you mean Wonder Boy and Monsterland? And he knew, he remembered, and I was wanting to get him on my channel to do an article about that, and he didn't. He wanted to be anonymous. So annoyed because that was such a good story, and it was just can't be told properly. Any guesses for what the most frequently asked question? Anyone here still know the code?
Of course we
We
do.
all know it.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
One,
3, 2,
two,
1.
three.
Sun, waves, moon.
Waves,
Star, sun, moon.
star,
Waves, fish, starfish.
moon, waves, fish, starfish.
That was terrible.
That was shocking, but we all did it.
Sun, wave, moon, star, sun, moon, waves.
That
fish,
just
star,
reminded
star.
me, actually, while we were ranting that off, we used to have a code for when our friends would be calling in to talk to us, and we didn't want the managers knowing. If the manager was lurking around, would say, yeah, and then to get the Thunder Saber, yeah, that's right, and the Thunder Saber was code for managers in the background.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There you go.
That dreaded room.
So that's what the code is to finish off Alex Kidd in Miracle World. There you go.
Interesting.
Free.
Interesting
Charge it
stuff. Yeah. All right. So, what else did you do at Sega? We'll quickly move along with this. We wrote articles for magazines, including Sega Action. And how much was this going for on eBay just the other week? Oh, yeah, eBay.
There was a bunch of them for about $100, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I can
Yeah.
pony up $100 for some propaganda magazines.
Propaganda.
Yeah,
Sega
They're
communist.
pretty cool.
I do want to get
Just
that
for
first
the-
issue though.
for just the viewers out there what this is. It's basically a members-only magazine sort of thing. It's not like a magazine that you buy off the shelf, so it's just something internal.
When you're a Sega Club member, you would get the news. You get this as part of a sort of regular mail out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Moving on. That was it later became Sega Zone.
Zone?
Yeah, Sega Zone.
And this was sold in these agencies?
These were not. No, these were still sent to members.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were very small, but still getting one of these in the mailbox would have been kind of okay. But a lot of people complained that the Sega Club wasn't really value for money. I had a few people go at me on Twitter. I'm like, sorry, nothing to do with me.
Just worked it.
Well, you got your T-shirt and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there was a T-shirt also given out, but yeah. Megazone. Now, does someone want to go into a little more detail about the controversy in one of those covers?
Yeah, well, I'll talk it off. I've spoken about it a few times. So, we can see there Aladdin. Great game. Was recently released, wasn't it? About a year ago?
Yes, I got it.
Wasn't
I did get myself a code for that, yes.
Yeah, so it's a Disney game. Everybody loves it. It's a family-friendly game and all that. And I say to everybody who's watching this, look at everyone's eyes. Where are they all looking? Yeah. Oh, the number of calls we got complaints about the cover of this magazine. I don't think any of us realised at the time when we first saw the magazine.
Nah.
Oh, that's a pretty cool magazine. Pretty cool cover. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was about the tattoo. Oh, sorry. Now I see it.
Oh, come on. I mean,
I'm too pure.
At the time, I didn't care. I didn't look at it. I didn't see it that way, but I guess,
I didn't say it that way.
it was a different era, different time.
But the mothers saw it a different way.
Let's move along. So there's the Sega Club membership form, shirt size. Make sure you get your shirt size
Did you
in.
get?
I didn't sign up. I still don't actually have a card. Never did get one.
What's that entry into Sega rewards? If you go back one.
Yeah, so the rewards were if you bought certain games, you could send in the barcode from those games and redeem them for a free game.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
Stamp needed.
It was so awkward to police back then, yes. Check out the merch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the Mambo shirts and the watch and the badges. Everything else didn't really interest me.
I remember with the Sega Club, there was a necklace of some descript.
Yeah, that came out later. It was the arrow up.
Yeah.
Oh, you get a 93 calendar, boys and girls. Look at that.
I've got that Sonic 2 pin.
Yeah, I had.
You've got it?
Yeah, I've got it.
I had. And I remember is this the one that we got to help choose the design for the T-shirts?
Yes, we did, but I don't have a photo of that, unfortunately. I'll have to get that later. I didn't prep it into this little presentation. Got to move right along because we do have a few questions to get through that were sent in to us by my followers. So these were how the games came to us on ROM boards and put onto this circuit board. I remember my eyes just freaking out and my jaw dropping when I saw this thing being plugged into a Mega Drive for the first time. I was just like, what am I looking at here? This is awesome. And that was how I got to see, first of all, a ROM board for the first time, and second of all, it was Sonic the Hedgehog beta being played to me as a 17-year-old when I got invited into the Hotline. That's how I got to play it.
That was awesome.
And that's a Game Gear version of it being played by Stewie.
Good, yes.
Lapping it up.
Yeah, and there's a very young Gadler there at one of the road shows.
Hang on.
Girls.
Still the same. Yeah, this is what I did after I moved on from the Hotline. I started going on to the road shows, and we took this futuristic, post-apocalyptic road show around to different shopping centres, and ran competitions, and it would all sort of, we'd find all these winners, and then it would culminate at the finals on TV at the end of the year. But it was a lot of fun. The games were actually, the TVs were built into these giant steel drums. And, the amount of electric shocks I got from just setting that up, it was not OH&S, that's for sure. It was terrible.
Got to move on. This was the Sega National Championships, 92. And check out those that Darling Harbour, that's right. This is all not there anymore. And check out those happy pants. Oh, they've knocked it down. It's all changed.
Oh, okay.
And check out
acid wash.
Yeah, acid wash and the happy pants. But those Sonic shirts, I used to love those Sonic shirts. Wouldn't mind getting one made up again, actually.
Where are they now?
Ripped up. The quality wasn't that great. Life after Sega. Some of us went on to a TV show called Zone. Some of us got to be on TV. We'll just play this quickly. This is a Tim Bailey. Oh my God! Out of the way! Look at him go. 93. And there's a much younger Nick. Sorry.
Yep.
Nico.
With Andrew Humphreys.
And Andrew Humphreys, yes.
Andrew Humphreys was he went on to become the editor for Rolling Stone magazine at the time.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, I was on there flogging Sega every couple of weeks for a little while.
Oh, so you went on there more than once, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And there's the Omega CD. Beautiful.
Still got mine, and I love it. It's just such a powerful looking machine.
Basically, what happens is
Just for the international viewers, it's always that hot down here in Australia that we have to rip off our sleeve.
Making vestless sleeves fashionable again.
That was probably in the middle of winter, that shots.
Well, they were in long sleeves, except him, obviously, because, mullet boy.
It's the guns.
That's right. If you start off with the Master System and you've got...
He's a little bloke.
What you can do is...
I love hearing you struggle through this. I can imagine how nervous you would have been.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous.
Yeah, just Australian TV. Don't worry, no pressure. 8:30 or whatever it is in the bloody morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it shot live?
What's the most popular game, Andrew? I don't know. What do you reckon?
The Sonic game. Echo the Dolphin's big at the moment.
Echo the Dolphin's pretty big at the moment. It's got an environmental message and all that. He actually says that.
Two crude dudes. I don't even remember that.
I do. It was fun.
Oh,
It was like a Double Dragon rip-off, right?
How? Oh, you stopped the game.
Things
Look at the big video player that they've got to drive this thing. That was our TV, wasn't it? I think that was the Sega.
Actually.
Yeah, it was our TV.
Yeah.
Should be out in a couple of months. It's coming
When
out
Street Fighter 2 coming out?
when it comes out.
I don't care about this Sonic crap. That's...
Hey, mister.
If you've got any questions about
So violent.
any games or you've got any problems with your gear,
Yeah, and they were trying to peddle a segment to ask the experts anything.
guys, see you next week.
Yes.
That's a very quick segment. That was like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So all we need are your
Oh,
questions.
yeah.
It was just a glorified infomercial.
Oh, yeah.
PO Box
Send a letter in, guys. Big breakfast, PO Box 8. I wonder what happens if you send that in. Okay, so we've got a few more magazines that some of us went on to write for afterwards. And Time Zone magazine, yes, with Doug Morey on the cover. And Sega Master.
Pretty rare.
And just last of all, before we get on to the video questions, we went on a couple of panels. One for HubCon, which was organised by Tim here. up in the Blue Mountains, and it was hosted by TV celebrity Hex. And we posted that that was the first time we got together for the first time in over 25 years. Yeah. Posted it up on Reddit.
Ed.
What happened then?
It got to the top. It reached #1.
Exactly.
All of Reddit. I was like,
holy
heck, this has got a life of its own.
I remember the day so well because it was when all the flights were cancelled because there was some big there was a lot of wind, I think, or something like that at the airport, because I was heading back down to Melbourne, and my phone was just going bing, 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 going off, and Nick's going, "You got to get Gaz, what are you doing? What are you doing?" So what? Have a look at this, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I couldn't believe it.
So
really cool.
We trended on Reddit for about 6 hours. #1 over it was close to 100,000 upvotes, which I believe is a big thing. I'm not a big Reddit guy, but yeah, when Tim was calling me non-stop, I was driving and I finally got home. What? And then he goes, "You got to go to Reddit now." Why? Just do it. And I click on reddit.com, and there's me and you guys up on the front cover. It was a pretty awesome moment.
It was so funny. It was so funny. My nephew and nieces started ringing me up. "Is that you on Reddit?" and now they think I'm like I was cool before. I'm like ultra cool now because they tell all their friends, "Oh, this guy, he was on the front page of Reddit. My uncle's on the front page of Reddit."
And this is us at PAX straight after a few months after this. We went on PAX stage and did this very panel, and that was a very cool moment for me personally. I'm sure you guys got a big kick out of it as well. We would have been there now if it wasn't for a certain thing that's going on right now, but we won't go into that. And that is contact. So I'm not going to end it. We're going to keep going. We've got some questions here we've got to go through. Let me just fire them up. So on the Synth Spacies show, I get my viewers and people that follow me on Twitter to send me in a question via video. Has to be a minute long, needs to be landscape. Make it interesting, and I've asked everyone to do that with this video. With this show, and I've got a few videos there ready to go. I've got my Stream Deck all fired up, ready to go. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, bring it on. Question #1. Now I've got to go get myself organised here. I was talking it up, and I thought it was so organised. Here we go. First question is from Game Boy Bryant. Are you guys ready? Here we go.
When we were talking about it, when you were mentioning on Twitter about the Sega episode, yeah, it may look like a little bit rushed because I'm in the same place I filmed the last 4, but that's neither here nor there. Just be happy I'm not wearing a Mario shirt this time. I didn't realize you're going to point that out. There will be a next time for that, I assure you. But anyway, the question is about the calls you got the hotline. You probably got this last time, but I'm just asking this. Weird ones. Weird calls. They don't understand the basic functions of the game, or they don't understand the basic way to defeat certain enemies, like in certain games. Like for example this, you actually have to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, this is Streets of Rage 2. And knowing you're going to mention that you actually played it early. Yeah, I heard you mention that a lot. Anyway, I want to hear you and the others' answers to this question. And before I go, other than what I said before, I want to know, how badly did those Alex D kid calls annoy you really? I'd like to know the answer to it. This will be the first time to know. Take care, Spacies.
So thank you, Game Boy Bryant. Yeah, simplified questions. Like what? Getting control Mega Drives out of the box. I think that, did anyone else have a weird call that they remember? Like one that just made you go, what? 20 minutes or less, Tim.
It was just all the parents that would call during the day. Like kids would be playing in the afternoons or on the weekends and we'd get all their calls. But during the day, it'd be the parents that would get sucked into the games and they'd get stuck and call us on silly things.
What about Alex the Kid?
Alex the Kid? Oh, man. Well, It was either Alex the Kid or Alex in Wonderland. And,
Why not? Whatever.
Like, I don't know what game you're talking about. We don't have one called Alex in Wonderland.
Whatever floats their goat. All right.
Somebody actually.
Sorry?
I was going to say somebody actually made the description of Alex Kidd as Alex the Kid in a Twitter feed.
There was an official Sega post, yes, and they did call it Alex the Kid, and I just was like, man.
No, it wasn't. No, it was just general conversation about some random stuff, and Alex Kidd came up, and yeah, he called it Alex the Kid. I didn't want to
Alex the Kid.
No, but I'm going on an actual post from Sega of Europe. They actually posted Alex the Kid, and they didn't know that was not the right way to refer to it, and they got absolutely caned in the replies.
Oh, God, dearie me.
Anyway, it got me questions back sorted out. Sorry, trying to work it out on the fly. Question number 2. Thank you, Game Boy Bryant. By the way, Game Boy Bryant has sent me enough questions to get up to episode number 27. Not joking. This one's from David. Dave, what have you got for us, matey?
Hey, Spacies crew. It's Dave from Zalagamoto. And I got a question this time that I guarantee is simpler than last time. And that question is, what console is out there from a retro perspective that you know people love it, and it's a lot of people like to collect for it or play games on it, but for whatever reason you just don't care about it? Like, it's games that are on it that maybe are out in the Parthenon of great games, but for whatever reason just you find yourself playing other things, and you skip over it. So anyway, hope that's simple enough, and I hope you guys have a great show.
All right, guys, have we got the audio back? Yes, we do. Thank you, Dave. Nintendo NES for me back in the day. Now, I do have an NES, but I only got it last year. And I'm only getting it because I have to acknowledge it is an important piece of gaming history. Without that system, so many things wouldn't have happened. But I just didn't care about it at the time. It just wasn't on my radar. The Master System was all I cared about. The Mega Drive was all I cared about. And I still can't get into it. I tried getting into this NES. I just can't. There's only 1 or 2 games on that system that I kind of enjoy. But yeah, I'm biased. But what about you guys? What's your opinion on the NES?
Well, I think that's when I had my sort of console time warp or black hole and void in my life, because I went from the Atari 2600 and that sort of early 80s era, and then went to sort of computers. So that was like the Commodore 64 was absolutely huge for me. And so the Nintendo NES wasn't on my radar that much, but I do remember going into like Dick Smith and other sort of local electronics stores and seeing the little Rob robot thing and thinking, this is amazing, what is this sorcery? But it didn't quite capture me in the way that I was really hooked on the Commodore 64, and then but it was certainly by the time the 16-bit systems came out that's when I sort of moved back to consoles with the Mega Drive.
Yeah. Nick?
I think I just sort of embraced them all. I was just like, any games I could play, I'd play them. So I didn't really have an aversion to any particular system, but it was just whatever I had access to at the time.
Oh, so you weren't a gaming snob like me. I wouldn't think of myself as a gaming snob. I just had this thing that maybe Nintendo's not what they're all cracked up to be, and I keep hearing big things about Nintendo, but when I saw the NES, I honestly was not impressed with the system. There was only Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3 that I looked at, and I actually thought they're good looking games, but for the rest of it, I just saw the Master System as better looking graphics, better sounding audio chip to it. That's just my opinion, but yeah. But is there any other console besides the NES? I kind of led that.
the only one that I sort of get confused about, and I think looking at it from an Australian point of view, is the Spectrum Sinclair or anything to do with Spectrums. I don't get it. Like I've got a lot of followers that love Spectrum. I get that, but they're all mainly in the UK. Yeah. So I understand that, but for me, like you sort of look at a Spectrum at the time, and you look at a Commodore 64, and I'm going, well, naturally you're going to go C64.
Yep.
I don't know why. I'm clearly missing something here. I must be.
It was a very, very affordable system, though, so I think that has a lot to do with it. But it wasn't marketed heavily here in Australia at all. So
not at all.
But you look at it and you go, anyway.
Thank you, Dave, for that one. Question number 3 coming right up. If I can get to my questions, this one is from Snow. Snow, what have you got for us?
Let me ever love hoping that you're staying safe. But I also have 2 questions for you. 1, did you start working at Sega because it was a job and you need the money, or because you genuinely love video games? And 2, what is the weirdest or funniest thing that's ever happened to you while working at Sega? Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Have we got? Yeah, we got the audio back. Tim.
Yes.
First off, we're going to all answer. We were big gamers, like
always.
That's just not even. That's not even a question, right? We were there. I mean, obviously, we did it because we needed money, but I would have done it for a pay cut and still be there. So,
crying out loud, I travelled 800 kilometres. I left a small town to move to a city that I never even lived in. To get this job.
There is no questioning. There is no questioning this man's dedication to Sega, or Sega, whatever you want to call it. And just on that quickly, Sega. We pronounced it as Sega as early as '83. There's commercials online that prove that.
Correctly.
And we were pronouncing it the way that Sega of America were pronouncing it before it became a Japanese company. So when it became a Japanese company, the letters SE and GA do not get pronounced that way in Japan, so they converted it over to Sega. Anyone else that says anything different, at me. I don't care. And oh man, the one that I hate the most, it says it at the start of the video. Look, at the start of the video games in the 80s, it didn't do any speech. There was no sound startup. We didn't get to hear that. It was just meh, meh. And that's all we heard. Now that I've got that off my chest, Tim, what's your story?
I think it's called Sega.
Yeah.
Short for service games. There you go. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, what was it? Interesting. Was it interesting call? The weirdest.
I'm pretty sure you know which way this is going.
Okay.
The weirdest thing that happened to you.
The weirdest thing that happened. All right. So we get calls from all sorts of people, and I got a call from this, let's be frank, a lonely housewife, and she had a Master System, and she was telling me this, the tearjerker of a story, how she had a kid, and wanted to get him a Mega Drive, but she couldn't afford it and that, and she just wanted to have a try at this game at the Mega Drive. And I thought, like, I'm a bloke, young bloke from the country, I thought I'd do the right thing. I said, look, I've got a couple of Mega Drives at home. How about you borrow mine and I'll bring a few games around and can have play around with it for about a week. And she goes, oh, great. So I'm there thinking I'm doing a great deed. It comes about, and I go out somewhere west in Sydney and knock on the door, and the woman doesn't answer the phone. Answer the door. She goes, "Oh, just come in. I'm just inside. I'm just helping one of the kids." So anyway, I open up the door, and the first thing I see scatter across the floor was cockroaches. Just...
I do get the mental image.
I go around the corner, and there's this toddler lying on its back like this. And sure enough, there's a cockroach on that. And
oh dear.
And then I'd see the woman that I was speaking on the phone, and look, I understand not everyone lives a perfect life. I get that. I understand that. I'm just getting that out of my mind. I'm here to help this lady. So anyway, I show her the games, sit down, show her, going through. And every time I go up and change the cartridge and come back to the couch, she's sitting a little bit closer to me. Just
cunning.
I didn't notice it at first, but every time after about the second game, I changed. That's a bit odd. Anyway, playing around, and she murmurs something, and I go, "What?" And she says something like, "Oh, I love you." Reaches over to kiss me, and I've just pushed her away. I said, "Look, I'm not into this, no," and I said, "No, I'm not here for that sort of thing." She said, "Oh no, but I really like you." I said, "No." Anyway, I went scurrying off. Got home, thought, well, this is interesting. This is interesting. And then I realized, oh crap, I've left the Mega Drive and the games at this woman's house. So about 2-3 days later, I went back, knocked on the door. She answers the door. "Oh, you're here. I get the just here to get the games." And anyway, I go inside and start unplugging everything. She starts saying, "Why don't you like me? Why don't you love me?" And I'm like, shit. So anyway, it's going, trying to get things all together, and that, bloody cockroaches. So, why don't you love me? And she's getting angry and angry. I'm like, oh, I'm freaking out. Yes, she's so quick. Anyway, I start scurrying out, and then I hear this, "Why don't you love me?" And she's bolting after me. I get in the car, and I got the little Mazda 121 Jelly Bean car.
The bubble, yeah.
So I get into the car, turn on the engine, and she launches herself onto the bonnet of the car, grabs onto it, and as I'm backing out, she's still holding on, and she's the Terminator. I slam on the brakes. She gets off the car, starts coming around, and I start flying off. And the only thing I could see in the rear vision mirror was this woman going, "Oh no!" So,
Snow, I hope that answers your question.
That was the crazy lady.
Thank you, Snow, for that one.
With women, don't I?
I do got to move on though. We got 4 more questions to go. Stewie is up next. And
Stu.
Yeah, Stewie's a dead set champion. Stewie, what have you got for us? Here we go.
I throw you a wee question. See, I was just thinking to myself, a good one here. Anyway, time travel has been invented all of a sudden, but we're only allowed to send electronic messages. That's the best we can do. And so, you are able to send an electronic message to your 90s self working on the desk in Sega. What advice would you send to yourself to obviously make something happen or change in your life that you think would be a phenomenal difference to the way you are or the way things could be now? Have an absolutely brilliant show. Take care of yourselves. Be safe and have a good one. Happy gaming, guys.
Yeah, just having a bit of a laugh as to what we're going to answer in that one. Me, it would be just grab all the ROMs, all those ROM chips.
That's the same as me.
Yeah, I know, right?
I want that one.
Just steal more shit. That's. There's so many cool things that we saw at Sega back in the day that we found out later was just plain thrown out, and it does my head in because now that stuff's worth
man.
an absolute butt ton of money.
And it's not just the ROMs and things. I remember because it was Sega Aussie Soft, there was also lots of big box PC games.
Oh my god, yes.
And they're just all throwing out like just hundreds. I just wish I just got more stuff.
There might have been a few beaters in amongst that,
they
ROM boards as well. That's the thing that would be
100%.
from
All
a
those early
historical
versions of ROMs,
preservation
they would
point of view. That was so important to grab them, and they just went.
And you know what else we could send back? Take more video.
Yes.
Yeah.
More photos, more video.
I did get some photos, but I mean, I was the only one. Besides, there was a couple of other guys taking photos at the hotline that I found out about later, but not a lot. Like, we just were not documenting anything, and it was just not the way people acted back then. We woke up, we were basically just cave people, really. Back then.
We were young. I mean, I started at the hotline. I was 17 or 18. We were pretty young.
Couldn't see the big picture. Yeah. No. So there was that. And there's no way. I mean, I did, though, predict kind of that there was going to be some sort of a way for everyone to grab information on an online system. I didn't know it was going to be anything as cool as what we've got now. But the whole Super Information Highway thing didn't even come into, regular conversation until Bill Clinton came in. And he started talking about this Super Information Highway. Yeah. What's he on about? What's that guy on about? But I think maybe Tim, you've got another one that you could tell your younger self.
I think just on a personal note, like, because this was my first ever job, and I didn't finish my high school, so when I didn't have a job at Sega anymore, I wasn't sure what the future held for me. It seemed very uncertain for me. Sort of like a grimace, like, okay, what do I do now? But if I was to send a message to myself, it would be that you'll be all right. You'll work out a way. And
I dreaded, I dreaded that sense of what's next. Yeah,
what's next? Yeah, and when you're young, you're always so uncertain about, what your future holds. Am I going to own a house? Am I going to own a car? Am I going to find a job? And I think, if I was to send myself a message, it would be just keep on plugging away. You'll get there eventually. So, that would be the message I'd send to myself. Plus, take more ROMs.
100%. Anyone else got anything to add to that one before we move on to number 5?
Oh, look, I was just saying that it would just be stocked up on everything, like whether it was stickers or little trinkets or anything that was there.
Has anyone still got the Sega the Sega Hotline stickers? Any?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like unstuck, unpeeled.
Yes.
Yeah, I've only got like 1 or 2. I've got one Mega Drive brochure that was handed. Oh, you got the new version, the 2.0 one. Okay.
I know. I've got the one with the phone number on it.
Yeah, the red graffiti style one. Yeah.
This is my pride and
joy. Don't put that in the dishwasher, man. Seriously, hand wash only. I wouldn't even be using that.
Yes.
I would not even be using that now.
It's my pen holder.
Yeah, because the handle is the first thing to go. And just taking more memorabilia. And actually, you know what? In hindsight, maybe making more decisions to try and stay in the industry. Tim, Pitfall Tim, I know that you went on to work at Sony.
That's right. So did writing for magazines, the Zone TV show, and then went to work for Sony Computer Entertainment. And that was even before it became, they had the PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly right.
They distributed games like Pugsy and Wiz and Liz, Shadow of the Beast.
It was crap like that. To me, that was just like absolute pitiful releases that they were doing at that time.
Yeah.
And so when the Sony rep used to come into the games meeting, he'd always have this downtrodden look in his face. But one day, man, he changed all that and announced the PlayStation. He didn't say PlayStation, it was the PlayStation. You know, you said it kind of differently back then. Yeah, and he puts that memo on the table and throws it towards me, and I was just like, what are you smirking about? that was a huge day when I saw that. I knew that, man, this whole game industry thing is just going to change totally now. Because I knew that Sony, if they entered the industry, that they were just going to rock it on its head. We can thank Nintendo for that. Thank you, guys. Getting right along. Thank you, Stewie, for that one. I think we're going to move on now to question number 5. Tommy Ted, he's got a slightly unusual one for us as usual. Tommy, what have you got?
What the hell are we doing here?
Well, we're here to ask a question for the Sega boys.
Oh, I've got one. Out of the 4 of yous, whose farts were the most rank?
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yes, I'm bloody serious.
What kind of a question is that? Come on.
Oh, alright, then you try and do bloody better.
Alright, I will. Here's something that not many people can comment on, and I want you guys to. What was it like on the first day of the job at Sega?
Oh, that's your U-Butte question, is it?
What's wrong with it?
It sucks.
Oh my god. My question, boys, not his.
Nah, stuff yous. Answer both.
Oh, man. Well, let's get that first question out of the way from your mate. I don't think it was any of us. I don't remember, man. Far out. How far back do you want me to go? Although, I think maybe our manager, Karen, had 1 or 2 stinkers.
He's not here to defend himself.
Let us just say for the record, Karen had her own office, and so did Tim.
Well, this is true.
Yeah. We had to keep them separate from the rest of the working force.
Maybe there was a reason for that. Yeah.
They were a bit on the nose, just to say.
Oh, hang on. Oh, no, the audio's working fine. Okay, sorry.
Yes. And then Nick was getting worse, so that's why they put him on the road show. He needed the open air.
Yeah. Having said that, our diet would have been atrocious back then. Our diet would have been absolutely atrocious.
That's where I discovered chicken schnitzel wraps with cheese and mayo and lettuce.
And I had my first
Was
kebab.
that Mama's cesspit?
Oh, the one at Rosebery. Yeah, the chicken salt. Oh my God, she used to keep the chicken salt under her armpits. Do you remember that woman? On a hot, sweaty day. Would you like some chicken salt? I'm all good. I'm all good.
Oh,
terrible. There was really not many burger rings and tubes. Someone just typed in the chat. We did have a vending machine. That was like gold. That was the worst thing they could have done, was put that vending machine near us.
We had our own cafeteria.
I never went to it. I can't recall it.
Yeah,
I can't remember it.
No. Oh, obviously, foodie he does.
Menu right here.
Yeah, he does have the menu.
Have the menu. I have the menu.
He could have taken anything, but he took the
Takes
menu.
a freaking menu from the cafeteria.
He took the menu.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a beta ROM there for Sonic 4 or something, and he's going to take that.
Yeah, I'll check that out. No, we had the menu. Oh, it's somewhere here. Yeah, but it was just extraordinary because you look at the prices for things like a sandwich is like $1.50. You know, and nowadays you have to pay
that
like
was about
$8.50.
$4. That was about the equivalent of $4 now.
Just stupid.
Yes, stupid prices.
Stupid prices.
So, first day on the job. Sorry, the main question. First day on the job. Do you remember it?
Well, I do. And because that was my first, I was 17, I'd finished high school, and it was a very surreal, I remember it being a very surreal experience, because when I'd started there were a few real dodgy geezers who worked on the hotline, like before us, we were the golden era, but these guys were...
Dude.
Don't you remember Gordon and Chris? And
yeah, and it was a little bit how's your father, and a little bit, you know, sort of overly cushy, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
And the guys were a bit... it didn't feel right at the time, like as a young guy sort of going in there. Not that there was anything weird going on, but...
no, there was. There was. Not that I kept away from all of that, obviously, but no, there was a few. Like my first day on the job, I think I got taken up to the pub in the lunch break to have a beer, and when I came back, the manager comes to me and says, "Where did he take you during the lunch?" "Oh, we went up to the pub. We had a beer." I didn't know that was a bad thing to do because this was new to me. I thought doing that was a normal thing to do, and then later he got into trouble for it. Yeah. Because of my big mouth.
But
so thanks to you, I did it.
Huh?
They weren't there for long, from my memory. Like when it started, they kind of were there for what seemed like 5 minutes, and then the golden era of us happened, and that was
the golden era. I love it.
The golden...
Have you guys noticed how much I've been fighting with this stupid bit of Nintendo tech back here? I've just been trying to get this thing to show YouTube footage at the back, and it just won't do it. Damn stupid Nintendo. Anyway.
Maybe just turn it off.
Maybe. I do remember my first day, and I was scared. I was absolutely petrified of that first call coming in, and that took a while to get over. But we eventually got, you know, used to. Well, you saw in that video, it was super cash towards the end.
We didn't have the computers initially, though, did we? It was just the folders.
The PCs were coming in just as I started. So when I was still in high school, being invited in, they were going strictly off folders, and all that stuff in the folders got moved over to the boxy green screen PCs.
Yeah, okay. Monochromes.
And then I started just as that was becoming a thing. So before that, you'd be flicking through folders for the first couple of months when I was starting there.
Yeah, that's right.
And I loved that PC when it first came on. Having said that, though, I really wish that we did get given, like they did in Nintendo, here's your folder, here's your jacket, counselor's jacket. We didn't get called counselors. We were Sega Masters.
Sega Masters.
Yeah, we were Sega Masters.
Yeah.
That's the name.
But
Son, wait a minute.
Yeah, I do wish we did get jackets, though. It would have been cool to have a Sega Master jacket to be able to frame or something later down the track. We didn't get much in the way of memorabilia.
Brian, you would have worn it down the street.
Yeah, and what's the problem? Come on, you're talking to a guy with a gold jacket. Like I care. Taste? What's that? Tim, do you remember your first day?
Yeah. Which team?
We'll go with Pitfall first.
Yeah.
My first day, I remember just it just took a long time to sort of get settled in. Just referencing everything in those folders. I remember there was a period when we were all sort of diligently. I don't remember the first day specifically, but I do remember those folders with all the sort of Sega of America sort of printouts of trying to help people, and it was a bit daunting, sort of being on the phones and being sort of monitored and overheard to sort of make sure you were saying the right thing, or I guess we were all at that early period on probation. And not everyone could cut the mustard, but it was
yes, cut the cheese.
It was good. It was exciting and kind of magical at the same time as well, because you sort of sat there going, even then, it wasn't, I wasn't oblivious to the fact that we're working for Sega. And we get paid to play games and help people, and even to today, it's fantastic.
It's pretty awesome to have that as your first full-time job, which we all share as a common thing with this, because they got us all so young. So 17, turning 18, what a way to get into the workforce, huh? And and seeing your first paycheck, I'm getting paid to play video games and talk to people about the games. We did have other things though that we had to do, but that was the nucleus of what we were there for, which was pretty cool. Stewie, Tommy Ted, thank you for that one, and thank you for the effort that you put into that question. That was pretty different, pretty big surprise to see a cartoon character on a question. That's pretty awesome.
It was very cool. Very cool.
Got 2 more to go, and then we are about to wrap up. We've got Wacko Jacko with the next one. Question number 6. It was going to be the last one, but I got one very late in the game. So question number 6, here we go. Thank you.
Spacies Show. My question is to you guys is, what game have you guys played in the past or recently where you're having trouble on a certain level or a certain part of the map, where you're adamant, you think you know what you're doing, but you end up being lost, and you come to the point where, I swear I've walked past this rock 3 bloody times already, or I swear I've been here, but there was a different time, there was a mission here, but then I can't remember, or you walked through that level and you came to a stop, a dead end, and you're like, this is the 60th time I've come here, and yet there's been no progress. Which game, and what point of that game, did you go, alright, I need a walkthrough?
And that ended very abruptly, but thank you, Wacko Jacko. I don't know, I had to really think about this one. It's not a Sega game. Mario 64. I thought I was good at it. I hardly played it though, and I've been playing it on my stream recently, and yeah, I'm a bit average, below average actually. I'm not good at platformers. Tim?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm the same as you. It's not a Sega game. It's actually a NES game, RC Pro-Am.
It's hard. It is hard.
RC Pro-Am, I absolutely love, and I can get over 600,000 on it. And my high score was actually in the record book on CMVG. It was there.
Really?
Down. I thought, yes, I still got the copy. And I thought, I'm pretty good, and I'm going on for years about thinking how good I am at this game. Then came Twin Galaxies. And everything changed. I've seen videos of these guys that get millions of points, and I'm like, well,
Mr. Mitchell?
Billy
Mitchell? No?
Mitchell.
No, okay.
All respect. Like, put it this way, you get up to 99 levels, and then it starts changing into different letters and characters. That's how far they were getting.
All right, so they were glitching it out. They were glitching it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
Nick,
good.
is there a game that you thought you were good at, but then when you played it, play like ass?
I think it's just one of those sort of puzzle games, or even just like, Last of Us, where you kind of get stuck sometimes, and you're like playing through, and you're like, I know that there's a real simple solution to get from this point to the next. Why is it not so obvious? And then sometimes you're like, oh, screw it, I'll just look it up, and sure enough, it's just like that little moment where you're like, I thought it might be that, but I didn't try it, and then you get through, and so nothing in particular, but just stuck in those little spots where.
It's funny you mentioned The Last of Us. I was streaming that and getting absolutely stuck in the train station part, and then I got hit. I got hit with 250 viewers just all of a sudden raiding my channel, and I'm just flustered. And I was thinking to myself, why are they raiding now? Of all times, like you could be coming in when I'm playing Sonic or something, doing half decent, but no, you had to come in when I'm struggling on this one. I reckon Activision Pitfall might be Tim's downfall.
Oh no, I think just on Minecraft 2, I remember playing it and finishing it, and or just playing through it, going, "Oh, I found another collectible, another card," and I thought I'd actually absolutely killed it and found probably most, if not all, of the collectibles.
Oh, right.
The game, and it's like, talk. You're like, what the hell? Where are we? But I remember playing. It is a Sega game, and one of my favorites is Valkyria Chronicles, and I did so well with the first one, and then got Valkyria Chronicles 4, and I was just arse at it. I wasn't satisfied with getting a D score in each round or a C, and I ended up sort of having like a laptop there and going, okay, how are these guys doing it, just to try and get a B or an A to get it. Like, I love it.
Okay, Wacko Jack, I hope that one answers your question. We've also got Game Train Twitch in on the chat. Cat's in the chat. He'll know what I'm talking about there. Last question, and then we are going to wrap things up. Question number 7. Sorry, trying to find it. Here we go. This one is from Retro Kaiser, who's been watching in the chat the whole time. And what's Game Train on about? Dropping some doggo emotes. Okay. Okay. Random. All right, let's just get on with the question. Callan, I think he's needs sleep. All right, here we go.
Hello, since Spacies show. It is I, the evil Dead Sauce, and I have a question for you and the Sega Masters. Woohoo! Now, since you guys are working for Sega, that must mean that you guys must have been celebrities, bad boys amongst their colleagues, leaders of the pack. So, with great celebrity powers, comes this question. Did you ever meet celebrities? Were they good experiences? Bad experience? Who was your favorite one to meet, if you met any? Anyway, Dead Sauce out.
Retro Kaiser, we need to talk. That's a strange one.
You said that last time.
It's always with him. At least you don't forget his questions. Yeah. So, me personally, now I don't know if you guys know who this person is. He was a famous celeb at the time. He has perhaps become forgotten, but he was an American lanky yank. Lanky yank.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that.
So we had the national championships, and I was not being paid for this at the time. I was there volunteering as a Sega rep, and I had to look after a display. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, this guy that I've seen on TV, and he's like a major celebrity. Like, I don't know, what's the current day example of? Like Rove McManus, probably someone a little bit more recent than that. But anyway, he was a TV show host. And he comes up to me and he says, I need a copy of that tape. And he's pointing to Road Rash on the Mega Drive. And he wanted me to give him that cartridge for his kid. Yeah. And I was only 18. Anyway, it was Don Lane.
Yeah.
Do you know who Don Lane is? No?
Yeah.
So Don Lane is asking me to give him a freebie. I'm only 18. It's like I'm just barely started at Sega at this time. I'm not going to give this dude a free game. I don't care who you are. We did also meet Bud from Married with Children. He did come in as well. Any other stories?
There were Rebecca Elmaloglu, a few of the home and away stars, Dear to Bruma. Yep. Interesting story about him anyway. Who else? We had the Sydney Kings. We had a partnership with the Sydney Kings because we had our name plastered all over the courts there back in the 90s.
That's right.
Remember that?
We had big celebs. Big sponsors, I should say. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yes, I've got one of my prized possessions, which is this Melissa George photo. Welcome to the next level.
Welcome
That's
to the
some
next
serious
level.
fun right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Heavy on the makeup.
Thanks for everything. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Dearest Nick, thank you. It's like, well, yeah, we're still in touch.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
really,
sure.
but anyway.
Tim?
Like,
Tim, did you get anything? Pitfall?
no.
No, just straight up no. No, I had a celebrity, Russell Gilbert from Hey Hey Saturday, phone through, and he was talking about how he has a Nintendo and also Sega, but he only uses the Nintendo to prop up the dog kennel so the water doesn't get in underneath. that was his story. So that was pretty funny. Signing him up, he wanted tips on Quackshot, of all games.
I love that game. I loved it.
I'm just going to wrap up. That was all the questions, and I do thank everyone for getting their questions in. We are getting towards the end, but I'm going to wrap up by asking you guys, what do you think of Sega now? Like, in just a few words now, do you look at Sega and think that they're a company that's going in a good direction, or do you think, and I'm just going to say it, my opinion is that I kind of feel sad that they've kind of lost their way.
There should have been the big four.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
That's it, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and Sega should have still been in there. And I'm sort of, sometimes I think, maybe they're going to come out with a big announcement, but
Dreamcast 2, like everyone keeps saying.
some kind of console. I don't think it's too late, but if they haven't made any sort of rumblings now, I mean, with the next gen, with the next, Microsoft and with the next Xbox and the next Sony, and just with the Switch and everything that's going on, I think whatever entry they thought they may have had, it's just gone. And I don't think that the properties really, they have done enough with like Sonic to make it as good as what you see the magic that Nintendo continually reinvents the Mario franchise with is just nothing short of a phenomenon, really. Every release is just amazing, but you can't say the same for Sonic, sadly.
The only thing about the Sonic titles that I will give it is that they are consistent with the music. The music in their games are always top notch, even when the game itself sucks. Sonic 06, for example, still had good music. Game itself, absolute train wreck. But then they release a game every now and again that makes you go, maybe there's still some spark over there. But one thing that really kills me with Sega is that you go to Japan and you go into the Sega arcades and they've got all the crane, machines, the UFOs.
Yeah.
You can't go and win Sega products. It's all Nintendo in a Sega arcade. There's a Kirby back there. There he is. I won that in a Sega arcade. What's wrong with that picture? Like, I wanted to win something like a Gilius Thunderhead or a Dreams, Nights from Dreams or something like that. And unfortunately, you just don't see any world famous Sega merchandise. You see all the Hatsei Mata or whatever her name is, the virtual singer and that sort of stuff, but it's all Japanese orientated and nothing that's... I would love to see Sega of Europe take over. I think Sega of Europe would run like the whole worldwide operation much better. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe too controversial. Where's our Golden Axe 4, for example? There's all these properties like Skies of Arcadia, a new one. Billy Hatchet, even. I don't know. Like, there's so many. I mean, they took. Huh? No. What?
Kid.
Alex Kidd. Why not? Why not? You've got Nintendo praising and looking after their back catalogue, which is awesome. To see how they treat their back catalogue. They do it better than what Sega do. And it's just, Green Dog too, someone said. Green Dog. Yeah. I think I reviewed that. I don't think I was too nice to it at the time. I'm going to end with, what is, just quickly, your favourite Mega Drive game? Quickly.
Sonic 2.
Yeah, Sonic 2.
Tim?
Rocket
Sonic
Knight Adventures.
Gunstar Heroes.
I think Streets of Rage 2 and Sonic 2 works for me on that system.
Golden Axe.
1 or 2.
Beast.
Shining 4.
I like the artwork of Altered Beast, thank you.
Okay.
And I just got to quickly end because we are going to get wrapped up. Generosity, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Also, thank you to Game Train for making this happen. And thank you to everyone who's been watching, listening to a bunch of old men ramble about, how it was much better in my day. We're going to wrap things up. Guys, been awesome. Have a good one. And my name has been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
Since Spacies.